2, 1. All right. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Let's go. Fucking episode 8, man.
Is it episode 8?
Yeah. I think it's episode 8. Welcome back to fucking Monumental Mindsets, everybody. Here we go. Hope these little microphones are going to work out good. But, man, fucking, dude, congratulations. We're back at it, baby.
Back. Happy New Year. New Year, new goals. All this.
New Year, new goals, man. What's new? What's new on the fucking agenda?
Well, this morning I had 2 eggs and a banana to embrace my gay side. I'm serious though, but
2 eggs and a banana.
2 eggs and a banana.
Nice, hell yeah. Well, we're flying off fucking 5 shots of espresso today.
Yeah, I'm about 2.5, maybe 3. But you suck down 5 real quick.
Dude, I chugged those 5. I'm actually looking at that thing of coffee over there. I'm just like, maybe I'll fucking, suck down some more coffee. You know what I mean? But man, new year, new goals, new everything. So welcome back, everybody. Fucking whoever's 5 people out there.
3.5 maybe.
But maybe one day it's gonna be fucking 5 million. Who knows? You never fucking know, man. But decked out in black. We got some nice sound panels back here.
Mm-hmm.
Start this bad boy up. Let's go. Episode fucking 8. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see. Where can we start this out? I guess we're kind of shooting from the hip today. We're just trying to get
the momentum going. Yeah.
Some momentum.
Let's see. Well, for me, the biggest thing is to get back to my reading for this year. So I took some old books I read before, last year when I had my deep work for myself, and I started reading Level Up Again by Robert Dial. Great book. I'm taking it real slow and actually journaling and applying it instead of just reading it. So I'm on the first section of the book where he talks about the 4 things that hold you back from achieving your goals, since we're talking about New Year, new goals. So the 4 things that hold you back. The biggest one, number 1, is fear. Number 2 was identity. Brain fart. Number 3 was purpose. Number 4 was visualization, like manifestation type stuff. So those are the 4 big things. Number 1 being fear. So fear is, I talk about fear being made up for the most part. So like when you want to achieve a goal, doubting yourself, that's a fear, right? You don't think about it as a fear, but you're doubting yourself, right? So if you want to start your own business, you want to do right away, you're telling yourself, man, it's going to fail, it's going to be too hard. That's fear, right? You don't think about it as fear, but that's fear, and it's made up because you're already setting yourself up for failure because you're focusing on the negative as opposed to the positive. Like, I'm going to start a business and we're going to be fucking successful, and your brain kind of goes that route, right? But as soon as you sense any fear, like, oh, I might fail, then your brain really goes down the negative route, and it holds you back from achieving that goal. So I would say fear, definitely number 1. You don't even think about it sometimes.
Yeah.
Because doubt is kind of fear. And stuff like that, and just stuff you make up in your mind, right? And they say 97% of the fears you make up in your head do not come true, right? So it's 3% that do, and the 3% that do, they say, think about the tough times you've been through, and you've always made it past that, right? You're still alive. Nothing's gonna happen. You're not gonna die. If your business fails, you get back up, you do it again. You learn from whatever. So like 97% of the time, the fears don't come to fruition, right? So it's like, don't let these fears control you. Instead, when you have these fears, embrace it and step out of that comfort zone and be like, I'm going to do it anyways. You know what I mean? We talked about that a lot before, of like stepping out of your comfort zone. And I thought of that a lot, because like I've been trying, I love my career and what I do, but I've been trying to really kick off a small business for myself to kind of get my feet wet. I've always been scared of like, what if I fail? I'll put this money in it and I fail. So, maybe I'll start with something small. I guess talk about the vending machine stuff. Like buy a couple vending machines, get a few locations, something small to get me confident in myself and think about the best solutions. Right? And if it fails, oh well. I learned a lot, and let's try the next thing or whatever. So
yeah, a lot of times, man, like when you look at like this, for instance, like the vending machine thing, it's like it's if it wins, right, it's a small investment,
Yeah.
and like you're winning, you're learning and stuff like that. But if it fails, it's a small. They call it like ignorance debt, right? It's just like you have to pay down the ignorance debt, and sometimes it's like if it's a investment of $2,000 or whatever, sometimes you have to spend $2,000 to learn that lesson of why it didn't succeed, so you can carry that lesson into like the next business.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like so sometimes it's just like. Sometimes, like, you have to, like, for instance, like, we just bought, like, this fucking crazy HubSpot CRM, which is stupid expensive. Like, it's crazy as hell. And, like, we were trying to get out of the contract at first or whatever, but, like, it turns out being that, like, it's actually, like, a pretty, like, good and useful tool. We can do the things we wanted it to do in the first place, which is why we agreed to buy it. But we got, like, a little bit nervous, like, in the beginning, because we're just like, man, like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do that or whatever? And I was trying to explain to Jenna, I was like, if we don't, figure out how to like use this thing, like the CRM, for example, like, it's just like, this was the price we had to pay to learn the lesson. And usually, like, this is what it is, like, in business, is like, if the vending machine thing fails, or like if you did something wrong, like, you'll know what it was, like, pretty fast, and you'll be like, okay, like, that's where I should spend that $500 and not this time. You know what I mean? Like, because if you keep going, like, it's always, there's always like they call it like the great idea, then you have like this, oh my God, it's going to be amazing, and then you have like this, the lonely valley of like the idea. And you fall into that lonely valley of just like, usually like this is why it's going to succeed, and then you're all the way down here, just like, well, this is why it failed, this is why it failed, this is why it failed. Then boom, all of a sudden, like, you have like a big win, and then you go back into like the valley, right? But the longer you stay inside of that thing, the more you can look like you're like a stock, right? Where you basically go up and down to your learning, you go up and then you're down in your learning and stuff. So
I like that comparison with the stocks. Stocks always go up, down, up, down, but overall it's always up.
The trajectory is always up, right? So it's like usually these things start really low, like the value is really low, and this is like when you enter business, right? Like when you're entering like the cleaning business, for example, or you're entering like the the vending machine business or something. It's always like that. You're entering the stage, and like you're very it's infantile, right? Like you're super new at it, like you don't know that much. Then all of a sudden, boom, like you learn a whole bunch. Then you fall back into the valley of despair, and you're just like, maybe I should quit. Maybe I should give this thing up. Maybe it's not going to work. And then all of a sudden, you have this new idea because you learned something from before. Why you won, why you lost, and you just keep going up like that. So that's kind of how I think about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's always like a like an up and down kind of thing. But it's like you have to look at it like you're investing in yourself. They call it the S&Me 500, right? Not the S&P. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think so that fear thing too, man, that you were talking about, like it's always something that like you got to look at it as like whatever you believe is what you're gonna whatever you believe in your head is always what's gonna happen in real life, right? So it's like if you think that this business is gonna fail, if you think that this thing is not gonna be, if you think it's not gonna be like something that's gonna work long term or whatever, of course it's not.
Because you're gonna like subconsciously find ways to fail. You know what I mean? Because like you're not focusing on ways you could succeed. You're just like, I'm gonna fail. So your mind's going that way, even if you don't even know it. And it's crazy. And then for fear being the biggest one, the second biggest one was identity. And with identity, right? For me, for example, I struggle with, I'm not a business owner. I'm not, I don't have experience in running my own business. I'm telling myself these things, and I don't have that identity. But that's holding me back because I'm like, I don't know if I could do this. I'm not a business owner. So that setting up that identity, like I am a business owner. Tell myself that. And like find people that inspire me. Yourself is one of them, right? Chip Pro Clean and everything, So like people that inspire me, follow that, and then build that identity for myself as well, right? Like who cares who I was 5 years ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago? Get rid of that person. I'm becoming this new character. This is who I want to be. This is who I am. And tell your mind that you are this person. I am a successful business owner. I am, and you build yourself into being that character. No matter who you were 2 years ago or a year ago, you can always change yourself to a new character, but you really got to believe it. And you got to follow people that you can learn from and really copy the actions that they do as well to become a successful business person,
Yeah,
and
man.
it's just, so like, for me, that's an identity. Or if you want to be a professional athlete, you want to be a professional baseball player, follow someone and what they do with their workouts and their routines and follow what they do every day to become that, right? So you build your identity that way, but you really got to sit down and what do I want? What's the character in my life that I want to be, right? Because these things that hold you back from your goals, right? The worst thing that can happen is, laying on your deathbed and like, I could have been this person, but I wasn't. It says that in the book too, and I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. But it's true. It sounds harsh, but it's true, right? And I'm like, man, if I took these steps and did this in my life, and this in my life, that's the worst thing. And you're living with all those regrets. But moving past these fears, the identity of who you want to be, take that step forward and do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a like a really good like perspective shift for people too, right? It's like, if you think about like, you're 80, 90. I was just joking with Joanna last night. She was like, how long are you gonna live for? I'm like 120. She's like 120. I'm like 120. Yeah. But it's such a good perspective shift, man. When you think about it, it's just like, who do you want to be proud of? Like when you're 120 and you're on your deathbed, right? It's like, do you want to be like, number one, like hopefully everybody wants to be, maybe you don't want to have kids or whatever, but maybe you have like a lot of friends that are close to you, and you can make those people proud of you too, right? Like you never want to have like everybody like dissatisfied with you as a father, a husband, and all that stuff, and then you have these monumental achievements, and like you have millions and millions of dollars, but you're a piece of shit to everybody in your life. Like, what's all the money worth for them?
Right. Exactly.
So it has to be like directionally correct, I think.
Yeah.
But like I think one of the big things though is, man, like when you can shift that perspective and be like, okay, like what's the best version of me look like?
Yeah.
How do I get there? And then like when you're on the deathbed, right? And you're just like, man, like I gave back to this community. I did my best in this community. I tried to help these people right here. I built, I think I gave a lot of wisdom to these people right here. Like if that's directionally correct for you, I think that's like one of the best things that you can do, right? Is like, being proud of yourself, having people be proud of you, and then being proud of like the things that you achieved, like whatever those things were, right? Like, making $1 million or, being the best father you can, or whatever it is, right? But like,
whatever you want your identity. I want to be the best father, the best athlete, and the best businessman.
Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
it is,
Exactly.
That's your identity. Build it up and make yourself the best version of that. Right?
Yeah.
No matter what it is. I'm not saying that's you have to be a businessman. You don't have to do that, but like whatever makes you feel good about your life. It's your life. Make it monumental and do do what the fuck you want.
Yeah, it's a good plug.
And really just go through it, man. Just plow through walls and don't stop, man. Like the Kool-Aid man.
No, dude. I was gonna say, right? I was gonna say like your dad would say back in the day, Chris, stop it! I'll punch you through the fucking wall. Do you remember this? Tim, stop parting downstairs. I'm gonna punch you through the wall.
I'll punch you through the wall.
Do you remember this?
I do remember it.
Oh my god. So if anybody's out there, they don't understand the joke. Like me and Tim, we grew up together, and Tim's brother Chris. And every time I would go to their house, like your dad would always say stuff like, "I'll punch you through the wall." Mr. Martin, I love you. You're so funny if you're watching this. But oh my god, it was so funny. And Tim you would fucking put your legs in the air. You would inhale air through your butt and blow it back out. And your dad would get so mad, dude.
I forgot how many I did in a row one time.
Oh, dude, that is so funny. I can't believe I remembered that. For some reason, the Kool-Aid man made me think about your dad.
But no, yeah, I think,
So we got fear, identity.
Yeah,
do you remember what the last two were?
Yeah, the third one was purpose, right? So a lot of people think of purpose like, I want to start a business because I want to make money, or money usually comes up as number one, but you really gotta, they call it like the 7 whys of why you want it. So like, you want the money, but the money is not your main purpose. The money is not going to drive you. You can have $1 million, you got $50 million, right? I can have $50 million, buy a mansion, buy a nice car, buy everything, but at the end of the day, I'm not happy, right? Those are just things. So why do you want that, that money? Why do you want to build a successful business? And why, is your business helping people? Is your, and you feel fulfilled that way? Is having that money, be able to, buy a home for your parents so they can retire early and live their life and enjoy their life more? Or, those are the deep whys you want to dig into, right? Or if you have a family and kids, I want them to live the best life they can. You have a picture of your daughter, your son, or whatever, and that's my drive. You have to find that drive, that purpose.
I like how you said that, the deep why. Like it's not just a why, it's like a deep why. Yeah. Because I think there are like surface level whys that you can.
Right, but think of a penis, right? The mushroom is the money. The shaft is the deep why. You really
Oh my god.
trying to be serious.
I put the image in my head. I'm like, if you think of it's so funny. So okay, deep Y. Y is the head, and then you got the shaft is the deep Y. That's perfect. That's amazing. You go balls deep in that Y.
Balls deep in that Y. But yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, I think the deep Y is. Okay, I think the deep Y is a. I don't even know if I can say it. It's so funny, but I think the deep Y is a really important thing, because like a lot of things are like very surface level Ys. I think a lot of things are really surface level Ys, where you can kind of say like, yeah, I kind of want this thing, or like this is something that I think that I want. I think like when you can get to the deep why, like why you really want it.
I'm trying to hold on.
The name of this thing is gonna be Deep Wise.
Deep Wise.
But
not just a tip.
You start with the tip. You start with the Y, and then you get to your deep Y. Okay, so but what was 4?
Yeah, well, the build on the Y a little more, but it's like finding that deep design. I say deep. I think I can't get it on my mind.
Deep desires.
That's new. Deep desires.
Deep wise and deep desires. Oh my gosh.
But
yeah.
But you think of like any goal you have, right? It's like, well, I want more money, or I want this job because of more money. Money usually comes up as number one, but it's like, why do you want that money? You want to support your family. You want them to live the best life they can. Blah blah blah, or whatever that may be. We want to be very specific with it, though. Very specific and very deep. But just like I want my parents to retire by this age, so I need this much money by then, and then you really drive. And what they say is like, or you want a big home for your family still, and you put a picture, instead of like making money as your goal, put a picture of your dream house on the wall, and like, I'm gonna have that house one day, and desire for my family, my wife, my kids, we're gonna live in this fucking house,
Mm-hmm.
And that's your drive, that's your desire, not the money. At the end of the day, money's just made up paper, right?
Yeah.
But that's a tool to get what you want, right? And what really drives you, and you can have this loving home with your loving wife, your kids, and have that. That's not for everybody. That's the life that I want, for example, right?
Sorry, I'm giggling for this deep why.
So it's like you put that on the wall, not just the money, right? I think in the book they talk about like a sales guy, like something similar to that, right? It's like your goal is to make this much money in sales because you want this X amount of bonus, but why do you want that bonus, right? You dig, and at the end of the day, he really wanted, a home for his family, himself, and blah blah. And that's the main goal. Like, can you afford that house yet? Instead of saying, did you make this money yet? Can you get that house yet? And then you make that your goal. So that was very interesting.
Sorry, I'm giggling.
That's the shaft.
Put the shaft on the wall. Put the mushroom on the wall. I'm sorry, I was giggling when you were laughing. This is really funny. But yeah, I once Ed my lad with this actually great book. It's Power of One More. I didn't finish it. Sorry, Ed. But I've listened to a lot of your content, so I know like a lot of what the context is inside of the books. I haven't read the full book, but I know what a lot of it is. But there's one thing that Ed said like a long time ago in one of the videos, and he's like, you have to go and touch the things that you want, right? So. Deep desires. Touch the things that you want. So you have to touch the things that you want. So what that means is like, if you envision yourself being at like a certain amount of like income, let's say. So if you envision yourself being at like a certain amount of income, or like a like a certain house, so you have this deep desire on the wall, this big old shaft. But if you have like this thing for you, right? Like you have to go and physically like touch these touch these things.
Touch the shaft.
You have to go and if you want, let's say like a Tesla or something, right? Like if this is like your dream car, like if you want the Cybertruck, you have to go and touch it.
Touch the shaft.
You have to touch it. You have to sit in it. You have to smell it. You have to.
I'm just visualizing a dick in your hair, sniff it, smell it, touch it.
When you were talking, that's why I was giggling. I was like. I was giggling because I was visualizing a dick.
You gotta sniff it, touch it.
But you have to. This is your dream car, your dream house. Like you have to go and do a walkthrough on this thing, or like if your dream is to like stay in, and have a house in Mexico or something, right? Or like your dream is to like go into like one of these fancy resorts or something, right? And like stay at one of those. Like you have to figure out a way to get there, right? And like Ed would say all the time, he would be like, he had no money.
Mm-hmm.
Him and his wife were like showering in the gym and stuff like that. But he's like, when I made money every time, like he would take them out to like the restaurant or whatever, because this is what he envisioned for his life, like later in the future.
Right, yeah.
Like he would envision him and his wife sitting down in like these nice luxury restaurants. So he did it when he had the extra money to do that, right? And it's just like you have to like whatever your identity is, and like you have to overcome the fear, like make that identity like your identity from like what you want, which is the big shaft, and then you have to literally like figure out a way to get there, and then you have to go and do those things.
It's funny that you say that, because the fourth one was visualization, manifestation, right? And part of that visualization, not only visualizing it in your head, but actually going there, touching it, feeling it, and actually like because then it's like. You like if you want a big home, go to a house showing and walk through the home. Like, I'm gonna live here one day.
Yeah.
Drive by it every day. I'm gonna live there one day. I'm gonna buy this house.
Yeah.
And visualize it and say, I'm gonna live in this house. I'm gonna have whatever car in the driveway. And I'm not saying everyone wants a house and a car. Some people are happy living in a hut in the jungle somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's got different things that they want in life. I'm not saying that's the end goal for everybody.
Sure, yeah. But they also visualize that hut,
Right.
Like they visualize meditating every day. They visualize sitting in front of a campfire.
Yeah.
They visualize finding some river rocks and just cooking on the river rocks instead of cast iron. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not saying every goal needs to be some luxury stuff or whatever. If you enjoy the simple life, living in a jungle in a hut, and starting campfires, that's cool too.
For sure.
Everyone's got different things that make them tick. So I know we're talking about like nice car, nice this, but that's not like.
Yeah, it can be whatever you want, right? It doesn't have to be superficial. It doesn't have to be materialistic.
Right. But I used to not like that kind of stuff. I didn't care about a nice car, a nice home, blah blah. But it's like I talked about it earlier about like the energy it brings into my life. You get a new car. I'm the type of person, I don't care what anyone thinks. I do what makes me happy, and that's it, right? So like I never cared about having a nice car because I don't want to show off to people. I don't care what they think about me. I'll ride my rust bucket,
My rust bucket.
So like
the old duster.
But like driving a nice car has like some energy. It gives you some energy about yourself, like some aura. You feel good. Like, man, I feel good about I dress nice. I feel good. Mm-hmm. But I've never been like that. I always wore like sweats and old car, blah blah. But now that I kind of dress nice, and I'm not saying I have to do it every single day, and but like you wear like a new gym outfit, go to the gym, you got this energy. Like I feel good. I'm gonna work out. I'm not doing it for anybody else. I don't care what people think about me or how I look, blah blah. I'm doing it for me. And that's the most important. Be authentic to yourself too, right? Always be authentic to yourself. Don't give in to other people's opinions. Everyone's just trying to, paint a picture of what they think you should be, right? But what's really important is what you want to be, It's like they think you should be a certain way, and then you're going to do these things to kind of validate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But don't give a fuck what they say, right? And it's follow the people that are where you want to be or are on the same trajectory, right? Like when me and you talk about the goals and everything, and you got your own business, you're like that like drives me too, But then like, some people, why are you changing? You're not like that. No, I'm not like that anymore. 5 years ago, even a year ago, maybe I was.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm growing as an individual to be this character that I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I want. I want to be this better all the time.
Yeah, you have a new identity.
And you have to change.
Yeah.
You can't be the same person and, meet new goals.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You can't stay at the level that you're at right now and then expect yourself. You can't stay at a level 20 and then face level 100 bosses.
Right.
You know what I mean? In like a game, it's like
Yeah.
you have to level up your character. You have to get new stats. You have to get new charisma. You have to get new strength. You have to get new, and that means you have to go through the gauntlet of life, right?
Yeah.
That means you have to go through the forge. Like you have to go through the caves and the dungeons, and you have to,
Yeah.
literally get the new weapons and sharpen them, and become proficient in alchemy and things like that. And
Right.
like you have to do that because like if you're level 20, there's nothing wrong. Whatever level, this is obviously like a very generalization, right? Like a level 20 or whatever, staying at a level 20, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
No.
But it's like, but if you want to get to like, if you visualize like something as like a level 21, like you have to do certain things to get to that level 21, right? And it's like, for you, for example, right? It's like if you have a bigger vision for yourself, right? You have a bigger your outcome that you visualize for yourself is big and it's grand,
Right.
and then there's something there that you can't see it, you can't touch it, but you can see something that's there, right?
Right.
And your job is to kind of decipher this picture and make this mysticism and make this magic into like material, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's to make this image that you see inside of your head. It's to paint the outline of it, and then to put the colors inside of there, and then to put the background and put all the fillers inside of there. And once you can do that, like that's really what the job is, right? And then you have to start leveling yourself up to become the person who can take the orange and put the orange just like that inside of the picture, and take the mountains and paint the mountains inside of that picture just like that. And then you bring it to fruition, and everything that you ever imagined all of a sudden comes to life, right? But it's not overnight, right?
No.
Because like you went from the superficial level 100 or whatever, right, to the character that you had for yourself,
Right.
like at the end of the day, right?
And it's tough, right? Because like even the people that love you the most will laugh at you, like, "What are you doing? You're not this businessman. You're not this. You crazy?"
100%.
Because they're scared. It's the fear, right? The fear building in, like, they don't see that for themselves. So it's like, oh, but if you say to a business guy, "I'm gonna start my own business," like, yeah, do it. This is how you do it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's because they have that same fear that you once had of starting a business. Like, oh, so much pressure, this and that.
Yeah.
So they're like, "You're crazy," right?
Yeah.
But one of my favorite little video clips of Busta Rhymes saying, if you want a goal, you got to get maniacal, delusional. People are gonna think you're crazy. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
You just pick your goal and just get delusional, maniacal about it, and just keep driving forward, right? And the more people say you're crazy, the better. Because once you achieve that goal, like, he's a genius.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're gonna be like, he's a genius once they achieve it, right? During it, they're gonna be like, this guy's a nut job. Then I gotta think I'll take alone.
The best joke is there any other jokes?
But and it's true. And that's like a fear too, like because like people get fear of change because they might lose old friends, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, like if those friends can accept who you're becoming and that you're happier and you're achieving your goals, then are they really your friends, right? So you don't fear that, right? Because the people that are meant to be in your life are still going to be there when you love them up to your authentic self, your authentic character you want to be.
Yeah.
They'll still be there, right? The fakes, the liars, the cheats, they're going to be out of your life.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Yeah, new people will come into your orbit,
Yeah.
Like new people who are on the same trajectory as you, who are on the same, vibrational frequency as you, like those people will naturally gravitate into your orbit. And those are the people who you want to, bounce those ideas off of too.
Yeah.
Like
No, I was gonna say, like, people like, what does good mind? Oh, my mindset. What's the stupid stuff? People say, they're gonna say all kinds of stuff, and
for sure.
What I mean? It is what it is. I'm my trajectory this way, doing this and this, and people are gonna hate, judge, whatever else they want to do, and I'm doing what makes me happy, and that's it.
Yeah.
These people that are in a different orbit, or whatever you want to call it, different goals in life. I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with them being in that different part of life. Everyone's got different goals, different whatever.
Yeah.
But they're gonna look at you like, what is this guy doing? Tim was like this crazy, wild, funny guy. Now he's all serious, wanting this and bettering his life and doing this and that. It's when you change, people look at it because like, oh, they're not Tim. Like, no, I'm not Tim 1.0. Now I'm Tim 5.0. I'm a different version.
Yeah.
Myself.
I'm Tim that took a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, like, like at the end of the day, man. Like I think a lot about this too sometimes, and I always think about how you know, what is like what's the catalyst sometimes like
Yeah.
for these things? And it's like that the people that look at you and the people that are just like, oh, look at Tim, he changed, or look at Carlos, he changed, or whatever, right? Or look at you know, like look what he's doing different, or look at you know, going to the gym or whatever, like for me or whatever, you know, have a cleaning bit, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like what the catalyst is for those things is like those people who are out there. Maybe somebody out there has like some of those people too, but like the real thing for those, like they never took a chance, right? So like, you know, people can judge monumental mindsets all they want, right? But like, you know, the fact of the matter is that like I honestly, like, I've gained so many benefits just from the 8 episodes that we
just
did,
talking
right
now.
Just from talking right now to somebody who's like-minded, somebody who thinks about goals, somebody who thinks about character, somebody who thinks about, like, I've learned so much from you. And like, but like the well that monumental mindsets has like filled for me is like it really taught me to really like try and focus better, like when I'm talking to somebody, to try and, you know, articulate better when I'm talking to somebody, like, because I think I did it good before, but I think I took like my hip hop into it, and I was trying to talk too fast, and I was trying to get like everything out like when I could or whatever. But now I'm trying to just boil down points and like really just try to make them as you know, as digestible as possible in a short amount of time. And like this is like something that I really learned from this. And like having a conversation like this, like number one, we took a chance to do this, right? But like, because it could be clunky, it could be this, it could be that, right? But that's okay, right? Because we're learning as we're doing it. We're like teenagers learning to talk. And but like the thing is like the catalyst is like they never took a chance, right? And for them to sit here on, let's say like they were going to do like an episode 1 when we're on just episode 8, right? I feel like the conversation flows much better than it did on episode 1. So like to have somebody that never took a chance to try and do something like this on episode 8, they'd be like, oh, what the, you know what I mean? Like I was.
But it's crazy to think about. Like nothing bad to say about it, but like the people that are closest to you are usually are like not the ones that support what you're doing, but it's like all these new people that support what you're doing, because they have this one version of yourself in their eyes, right? Like this is Carlos, this one. And then when you do something new, they're like, what's he doing? You know? But then you get all these new people like, yeah, this is awesome, blah blah. So it's so weird to think that, but it always is that case.
It's almost like hard wiring. You know, like you have hard wiring from your childhood, right? Like where you respond to certain things or whatever. Like, you know, if I fucking mess up on a screw, I'm like, fuck! You know, or whatever. But that's like programming because something didn't go right when I was a kid, and like I explode like that now, like when I'm an adult. Not anymore, like I figured that shit out. But I think it's the same way with like a close friend or something. They have something that's hardwired inside of them of who you should be, right? And then when you start to rewire yourself and recalibrate your whole like, you know, vibration, and like your magic is different than what they think that your magic should be, then all of a sudden like they have like they're looking at you as a different person. Like you've stepped out of the image that you are and you're becoming somebody else, and they're just like, you change. That's what changes, right?
But they look at change as a bad thing.
It's a bad thing, Right. When it really is, it's just like, no, it's like I'm trying to fight level 50 bosses and I'm only at level 25, so I have to get myself to level 50 and I have to do these things. I have to read more books. I have to go and sit around, you know, people who know much more than me, or people that are stronger than me. Like, how am I ever going to get stronger in the gym if I don't progressively overload myself, right? I can't just keep training the way that I'm training right now and expect my muscles to get stronger, expect my CNS to react in a certain way, expect the muscular system that's underneath my muscles to fire off in a different way, where I can lift loads, where I can handle those loads. But I really think that's like one of the big things, man. Is like, you know, the catalyst is like they didn't take a chance. Like the thing is they look at you in like in a different image that they have you, because they've hardwired themselves to believe that you or me, when people look at me, or if you have somebody, that they look at you like you're somebody else.
And it's because it's hard to do this too, right? It's like it's hard to change. It's hard to do new things because you're comfortable where you're at, and you may not be happy where you're at. But if you know you have these new goals and stuff you want to do, but you're kind of scared, like, oh, I don't know. You know, you're kind of held back in that same comfortable space. But getting out of that comfort zone is so hard, you know. But you embrace those fears, you step right into it, you know, punch through a wall.
Mr. Martin, punch through a wall.
Punch through a wall, you know. So like we talk about like in that book, the 4 main things that hold you back, you know, are fear, which I definitely agree is number 1, because like fear is like attributed to everything. Fear of losing your friends, fear of success, fear of failure, fear of anything, you know. It's just like you're scared and you right away you back away. But when you sense that fear, you just be not smart enough, but like be aware enough I'm scared. I'm gonna step into it out of my comfort zone so I can grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even if you do like little things to practice that, like I used to do, well, I still do it, but I did it to break my fear, right? Like I take a shower in the morning, I take a warm shower. You know, I hate fucking cold showers, but you know what? I'm gonna do it. You know, I'm freezing in a fucking cold shower. This fucking sucks. I feel uncomfortable, but like for some reason that little exercise is like I remind myself of like now I feel uncomfortable to do something, I'm gonna do it. Instead of like, oh, I don't want to do it, it's too cold. You know what I mean? It's weird, but I wired myself to think that way by doing a cold shower.
Yeah.
Because it's so uncomfortable. But I'm like, I'm gonna embrace because now I feel good. Woo, it'll open me up like a cup of coffee, you know?
Yeah, there's a part of your brain that you train too. I off the top of my head I forgot what it is, but like there's a specific area of your brain that the more you do those hard things, like I don't want to wake up today at 5:30, but you do it anyways, and you force yourself to do it, even though you're just like, fuck, I love this bed and this pillow and all this stuff. If you do it, this part of your brain gets a little bit stronger. It's a specific area of your brain. I forgot what it's called. But like you train that thing to be a little bit stronger, but it can also atrophy. So like if you don't use that thing, it atrophies to loving more comfort and being more comfortable and stuff like that. And the more you take those showers, the more you get up, you know, early or whatever the hard thing is for you, even if it's reading for, 5 minutes or something, if that's hard for you and you do it, you train yourself to be able to do it more hard things. Yeah, it becomes a habit and you can do more hard things, you know?
Everything goes back.
We're such 5-year-olds. I love it.
But no, it's true, right? And it's like, like say like for this morning, I didn't want to wake up early this morning. I would sleep until 9 o'clock. It's more comfortable, right?
Yeah.
But if I didn't wake up earlier than I usually do on a weekend, I wouldn't have this awesome conversation with you. I haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, man.
And have this brilliant experience if I didn't just wake up, right? Because now I'm like, man, I want to wake up early every day.
Yeah.
But it's like you miss out on a lot of opportunities by not like doing these things that are uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
And waking up early is a simple one. Not simple to do, but it opens the door for so many other things.
Yeah, it's simple. It's simple in theory, right? And usually things are simple in theory, but then like the applications of those things is so fucking hard.
Right.
Like you're just like, I could just wake up because like the math is like if you just wake up 2 hours earlier every single day. I think when I broke it down, because I was usually waking up at like 7. I'm still trying to get myself back to like 5:15, 5:30.
Yeah.
Like I'm hit or miss there, but like when I wake up, I'm like I'm activated, like I'm good when I get there, like today. But like when I broke down the math, it's like you get 34 extra days all year.
Yeah.
So if you have 365 days per year, just imagine having 400 days. Like this is how I think about it. It's like I have 365 days a year. If I just wake up 2 hours early every single day for the whole year, right? You have 34 extra days.
Yeah.
So realistically, you have like almost 400 days.
Well, what's crazy is because at that time in the morning, you're so productive. One, because everyone else is sleeping. So you're not texting anybody, not calling anybody.
Yeah.
And you're like nothing else to do. It's like you're dead quiet, and it's like you just focused on what you need to get done. So you're so productive when you wake up that early, And you're not tired like at the end of the day when you're trying to do the same things. At the end of the day when you try to get that stuff done, after a busy day, then you're like, oh, I'm tired. But in the morning, like, boom, I'm gonna get this done.
Yeah.
And then you feel so good. Man, I got all this done. It builds up momentum for the rest of the day.
Yeah, 5 shots of Starbucks espresso.
That helps too.
Some cordyceps mushrooms in the morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like like training yourself to do like a hard thing, like just figuring out how to like step into that cold shower or wake up early or do whatever the hard thing is that like you can do. Like I think it's obviously so beneficial. There's so many people out there that are parroting this thing, but it really is. It's like you can hear it all you want, right? But until like you figure out what that hard thing is for you and you start to do it, right? Whether it's like, it could be as simple as just going to the gym, right? For 5 minutes and then just walking out, in and walking out. It could be that easy for us, right? But it could be that hard for you. Yeah. And it's like, if that's your hard thing, like figure out how to just open the door, walk in, grab whatever. If maybe your place has smoothies or whatever, like Lifetime has smoothies and stuff, you grab a smoothie and you walk out, you get yourself more comfortable because that was hard. Opening that front door was just hard, right? And if you can figure out how to just do that, and then, just get out of there, then you'll feel more comfortable to get into the locker rooms. Or maybe bring a friend with you or whatever, right, to make it less hard. But whatever that hard thing is,
Grab a friend to make it less hard.
Usually they make it more hard.
shit. But yeah, and that kind of comes with like knowing your deep why, right? Stick in my mushroom, dick in my wall. What the fuck is this?
A big old mushroom. Christina Kingsbury would be like, what the fuck?
But knowing that deep, because like you're waking up at 5 a.m., but it's hard, right? But if you know the deep why, I'm waking up this early because I want to start working out. I want to get my health back on track. If I start working out, I'm gonna live, extra 5 years for my kids and this thing. You get to that deeper why, and you're like, damn, if I can spend more time with my kids, I'm gonna wake my ass up right away. It's not just I'm gonna go to the gym to go through the motions.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in better physical shape. I can play with my kids longer.
Purpose behind it.
Yeah, purpose behind it. You build that purpose, and you're like, fuck, you got something to drive you.
Yeah.
It makes it easier.
Yeah, and I will say though, that
feel good.
waking up at 5:15 is the hardest thing fucking ever.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like when I go to the gym in the morning, dude, I'm not as consistent as I was like last year, but I'm really working hard to like get back on there, man. But I'm telling you, like when the hardest thing is fucking getting out of that bed in the morning. It's literally just like, oh, I don't have to go. I'm in pretty good shape. Like, I don't need that much flexibility anymore. Like, I don't need to bench today. Maybe I'll go later, right? Like, you make up all these excuses as to why you don't need to do it now, right? But you have to put emphasis on why now is so important.
Yeah.
And like for me, man, like today was so easy. Like for me to get up, like it was 5:15. I snoozed it for 15 minutes. I got up at 5:30. Started doing my thing in the morning. Chugged some water. Took the dogs outside. I was like, I'm gonna skip coffee because I knew we were doing 5 shots of espresso this morning. But like like for me, it was just so easy today to get up because I have this why behind it. I knew I was gonna, I knew we hadn't seen each other for a long time.
Yeah.
Like I knew that, we haven't been, doing a podcast or whatever for a long time. We have a lot to catch up on, even though we talk every now and then. Yeah. Not as much as we used to, but we got to get back on that. But like it was so easy. So like, for me, it's just like it just reinforces why you need like this purpose behind it, why you need to, emphasize the now because, it doesn't even need to be like, it could be just as simple as the gym for you. It could be as simple as like, but you can always make the excuse as to why you can do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you need to do it now. You need to emphasize the now because like you can have all these ideas with everything that you want to do, right? But if you keep putting it off until tomorrow, eventually tomorrow's going to be tomorrow's tomorrow, and then tomorrow's tomorrow, and then the next day, next week, next year, and those things pass you by because you just keep brushing it off, right? But if you emphasize the fact that you need to do it now, and if you just say like, for these, sometimes you can do more in like a week, in 2 hours, of 2 hours of real focused work. And I experience that all the time. When I'm sitting here, I'm just like, maybe I'll look at something, right? Yeah. But then I have to say, like, no, like I have things that I have to do. I have to like put myself into like, let's just say like 60 minutes before I do anything else. And if I can do that, I'll have accomplished so much in this 60 minutes versus like if I just put it off for 60 minutes and then do it in 60 minutes. Right. Because then 3 hours went by when I could have already done it in the hour that I gave myself, or even 30 minutes.
Procrastination kills, man.
It's a killer, man.
And it makes you, like, not depressed, but it makes you feel like, damn, I didn't get it done. Then you start building, like, this negative energy almost. Like, it's like, damn, I didn't get it. The biggest cause of, like, I don't want to call it depression, but, like, feeling down about myself is like, damn, it's time passing to get anything done. But, like, when I'm productive, you just feel good, you know? So I think it's always, you just get shit done, Get it done, get now. Because you say tomorrow, I'll get it done tomorrow. Tomorrow. A year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years. Mm-hmm. Damn, I want to start a business 10 years ago. Yeah. It's like you get to that point and you're like, fuck. Like, so just do it now and learn as you go. Yeah. Don't be scared.
Yeah, the best time was, the best time was 10 years ago, but the second best time is now.
Yeah, like
you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like you just have to tell yourself that, like, if you think you missed a boat on the thing that you wanted to do 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 2 years ago, like, the second best time is now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, don't cry because you missed out on Bitcoin, or don't cry because, like, you didn't get into S&P or whatever. Mm-hmm. Get in now. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's still going to go up. Like, if that's where you want to try and build your wealth, or, like, if you want to try and build in real estate, like, don't look at what the prices were 10 years ago and complain that you couldn't get in 10 years ago because I was only 16 years old or whatever. Yeah. That's okay. Just get in now. If that's how you think you want to build generational wealth, you still have 50 years or 60 years to try and build that generational wealth via real estate or via stocks or via your business or something like that. And if you work really hard and that's your plan, you have a plan about that thing, and you do it for this amount of time, like you can still make it happen. Right. Just because those people got in before you, it doesn't mean, you can still be monumentally successful with that avenue that you choose just by getting in now and starting today and putting all your effort into that one thing that you want to do today, right? Like for us, it's cleaning. It's some other stuff or whatever, but like you can choose to make it be whatever you want, like vending machines or e-commerce for you, right? For you guys, and you can really, like, if you just boil down like a couple of things that you can really just do. It's just like choose what you want to do, find out all the information about this thing, and then start taking action. You know what I mean? Just like take the first steps of action. Use ChatGPT to help you. Like this is what I want to do. Need more information. Tell me the first steps of action that I need to do on this thing, right? Like make it real simple for yourself. Put it into actionable, bite-sized things or whatever. Like some little fun-sized hacks that you can digest really easy, and then you can just start. You know what I mean? Like all it takes is like step 1 to start, and then you're already on your way to step 2.
Right, because like a lot of people look at the end goals like, damn, this is like a big mammoth. Like I can't get there. But take that big mammoth and cut it into pieces. Like I'm gonna take this little step first, this, and then it looks a lot more doable, right? And it's easier to digest, like you said.
Yeah, and I love what Tony Robbins says, man, because he's like, a lot of people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in a decade.
Yeah.
Like that's beautiful because like, you have like this, I want to be extremely ripped and jacked and gain 20 pounds of muscle or whatever, right? Like really hard to do in like a year, depending on where you're starting from. But like if you give yourself a decade, let's say, or even 5 years, half a decade, like you can absolutely, that's so attainable.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's so attainable for anybody. Given that you have the right circumstances for everybody. 2 hands, 2 legs, and functioning body or whatever. But like for the most part, like you can do those things if you want to. You know what I mean? So it's just like you have to, be realistic for a year and set expectations high for 10 years because you can do a lot of things in 10 years, but you can only do a certain amount of things in a year. It's not that you can't be have these big changes or big successes inside of 1 year, but it's more likely to have like gigantic successes within 10 years if you stay really focused on that thing. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
And then just kind of start to wrap things up a little bit because I'm sure we've been talking longer than we think. I don't know the time without you talking for hours.
Maybe.
But
for sure. But, it's such a good conversation.
Yeah, I know. I just keep on. I can go for another 15 hours.
Every time. It's probably like already 11. I'm like, fuck, I didn't get the rib roast yet.
But just kind of wrap it up and stuff is, when you say those big goals and taking it, but at the end of the day, I'm reading this Level Up book, right? The 4 things that hold you back: fear, identity, what the hell is there? Purpose, and then the visualization. So like really focus on those, right? Fear. If you're scared to start a business, you're scared to start judo, wrestling, or whatever it is. You're scared to start something, do it. If that's what you want to do it. Everything new is going to be fear. You're going to be scared to do it because you're going to think you're going to fail or you're not good enough, blah, blah. So step outside your comfort zone. Find that fear, embrace it, and step out of your comfort zone. Number 2, was number 2, identity. Build yourself as a character. If you want to be a karate master, say, I am a karate master. Just think you're that person. And that's a strong thing, But if you tell yourself, I'm never going to be good at it, then don't even do it. Yeah. Like, you tell yourself, I'm going to be a karate master. I'm going to go karate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to be then you build yourself that character. And what does a karate master do? They train every day. They eat this diet. They do this. And then you become that person, right? And it helps you overcome that fear. And then your purpose. Why do I want to become a karate master? I want to be able to protect my family. I want to, I want to feel confident when I'm on the streets and something happens. And blah, I don't know. I'm just making this up. From my head. No, but you get that purpose, right? You're not just becoming a karate master, become a karate master. There's a reason behind it. What's that why? And dig deep all the way down to the shaft and balls. Dig deep to that why you want to become that. And then number 4, visualize it, right? Watch fucking videos of Bruce Lee kicking ass, or I don't know if he does karate, but
martial arts.
Martial arts. Watch a movie, then visualize yourself doing that. Go and like look in the mirror, wear a black belt, and say, I am a black belt. Kind of visualize it and build yourself up, that character. So those 4 things, I think. I don't know why I did karate. I know because I don't do karate.
No, it's a great metaphor, though. It's a great metaphor.
So like you take those 4 things, and you apply that. It's really going to help you get past those, those block. I don't know what the word.
roadblock,
the barriers of you taking that next step. So those 4 things I think are very important, and that's why I'm really reading this book and digging deeper into this. Because I read it once, so I kind of speed read or listen to it in the car or something. But now I'm really digging deep. And these 4 things, I'm like, damn, that's true. You know, it's like, for example, I want to start a business. You know, so I always told myself, I'm not a businessman, blah blah blah. You know, but now it's like, okay, I'm gonna stop that fear. I'm gonna be successful. You know, I feel like I'm gonna fail. But no, now I'm going to be successful. I'll learn as I go, blah, blah, blah. I am a businessman. You know, tell yourself you are. And then purpose, why you want to do it. Because I want to, you know, be financially free. I want financial freedom. One day I want to have a business, be able to travel where I want to go with my family, enjoy life, and be able to provide for them. And it's like, damn, man, I feel even more driven, you know. And I'm not just having a business. I'm being able to live life with my family and enjoy more quality time and do what I really think's purposeful for me in life. I could be on my deathbed like, damn, you know, I traveled the world with the people I love and spent great quality time. I could die happy. You know what I mean? Like, that's the purpose, you know, that's great. And then visualizing that business being successful, having that great times with my family and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's like, wow, now all this comes together. I'm like, I'm so motivated. Let's go, you know? So I think those 4 things are so strong. You know, I'm sure there's other things too, but in this book, those 4 things are so strong to get you past of, like, not doing something, to embrace and go after your goals.
Yeah.
So when you, like, have your goals for the new year, think about that and, you know, tackle it. It'll help a bunch.
Dude, that was beautiful. Like, that was, I have nothing to add to that. That was fucking, that was extremely well said. Like, the karate metaphor was, like, fucking perfect. Like, that was amazing, man. Like, that was, just fucking tackle it, grab the shaft and grab the shaft and fucking make it come, baby. You gotta make it come.
Yeah. Right.
But I mean, I think we should wrap this up. But episode 8 was a fucking banger. God damn, that was amazing. Oh my god.
From the hip, but...
No, I think it was fucking amazing, man. But I think next time, let's maybe habits. We'll do like more habits or something. Mm-hmm. We'll do like maybe like a couple current events we can touch on or whatever. Yeah. Some habits or something like that. But I think like let's do it like that. But this was an amazing way to come back. Yeah, what great kickoff. Jesus, what is it? The 11th? Yeah. We gotta do the January 11th. We gotta fucking wrap up 5 this month. Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it, man. This is beautiful, man.
Yes, sir.
Episode 8.
Monumental mindset, brother.
Let's do this. Amazing. Oh my gosh. That was powerful,
good,
man.